All right, let's talk about a habit that, well, a lot of us have, but we try to keep it on the down low talking to ourselves. But here's a thought. What if that private monologue, the one that sometimes slips out when you think no one's listening, what if it's not a weird quirk at all? What if it's actually a sign that your mind is firing on all cylinders? Because it turns out there's a real intelligence to self talk. Oh, you know that moment, right? You're deep in thought, maybe in the grocery aisle or at your desk, muttering something like, okay, where did I put that file? And you look up and someone's just staring. Yeah, that. It's kind of awkward, maybe even a little embarrassing, but what if I told you that you shouldn't feel embarrassed at all? In fact, you should probably feel pretty good about it. Okay, so this is where we totally flip the script. The common belief, talking to yourself is, well, a little weird, a sign of strangeness. But the reality? It's a sign of intelligence. No, really. We've been told it's a strange habit, but the truth is, it's actually a hallmark of higher cognitive function. It's not a quirk. It's a legit tool for thinking better. And get this, it's not just a random habit. This is actually the secret habit of some of the greatest minds in history. I mean, think about someone like Albert Einstein. He was famous for muttering to himself while he was wrestling with those mind-bending physics problems. See? It's not weird at all. It's a high-performance technique for processing really complex ideas. Just think about it for a second. Your inner monologue isn't just random noise. It's your brain actively organizing its thoughts. Imagine your mind is juggling a ton of different ideas, maybe a tough problem at work, or even just trying to figure out a tricky emotion. It needs a way to lay all those pieces out and see them clearly. Well, that's what your voice does. It takes all that internal chaos and gives it structure, out loud. So, okay, how does this actually work? I mean, what's going on in our brains that makes talking to ourselves so effective? Well, there's some really cool science behind it. Let's dive in and take a look under the hood. The official term for this is verbal processing, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the act of talking through your thoughts to clarify them, organize them, and basically evaluate them more effectively. When you say something out loud, you're not just thinking it anymore. You're speaking it and you're hearing it. This engages way more of your brain than just quiet thought alone. It's like you're creating an external feedback loop for your own brain. And the process itself is, surprisingly simple, but also incredibly powerful. It starts with that jumbled thought, right? That mess of ideas swirling around in your head. Then you give it a voice. You turn it into spoken words. And that simple act forces your brain to put those thoughts into a logical order. The result? Clearer cognition. You're literally talking your way from a state of confusion to one of clarity. It's pretty amazing. This quote really nails it. Giving voice to your thoughts forces your brain to engage with them in a more concrete, structured way. Think about it. A thought inside your head can be kind of slippery, right? It's hard to pin down. But the second you say it out loud, you forced it to take shape. You have to pick words, put them in order. That act alone makes the idea solid and way easier to work with. Okay, so we've covered the why this works. Now let's get to the really good part, the actual benefits. And they're not small. I like to call them cognitive superpowers. And the cool thing is, you can unlock them just by, talking to yourself. So what are these superpowers exactly? Well, it boils down to three major game changers. We're talking about building some rare mental strength, seriously speeding up your problem-solving skills, and gaining a much deeper sense of self-awareness. Let's break them down one by one. All right, superpower number one, building rare mental strength. Look, when you're in a tough spot and you start talking yourself through it, saying things like, okay, deep breath, you got this, just focus on the very next step. That isn't just some cheesy positive thinking. It's a real, proven technique for regulating your emotions. You are literally becoming your own personal coach right when you need it most. Superpower number two, faster problem solving. Have you ever been totally stuck on a problem, and the moment you start to explain it to someone else, the answer just pops into your head? Well, that's this in action. You don't even need the other person. By talking the problem out to yourself, step by step, you force your brain to put things in a logical order, and suddenly those gaps in your thinking or the clear path forward just appear. It's almost like magic. And the third superpower is a big one, increased self-awareness. See, when you talk to yourself, you're not just monologuing, you're creating a dialogue. You can literally ask yourself questions out loud, like, wait, why am I so upset about this? Or, is that really true? Hearing yourself say these things makes them so much more real. It gives you a chance to step back and challenge your own thoughts in a way that's almost impossible when they're just bouncing around in your skull. So let's bring this all together.
The big takeaway here is that we really need to reframe how we think about self-talk. It's not some weird quirk to be embarrassed about. It's a powerful cognitive tool that every single one of us has access to.
I mean, just let that sink in for a moment. Your brain's greatest organizational tool is your own voice. It's always there, it's free, and it is incredibly powerful. So from now on, the next time you catch yourself muttering through a problem, don't stop and feel embarrassed. Lean into it. You're not being weird, you're leveling up your thinking. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Now that you know self-talk is a strength, not a weakness, what will you tell yourself first? What problem? What idea? What feeling are you going to tackle out loud?